All right, welcome back. On RealCopStoriesVideos.com, 355 cop stories. Look them up. 7 to 12 minutes, depending on the subject matter. They're fun. There's ghost alerts. There's foot pursuits, vehicle pursuits, naked people, vice stories, restrooms. You'll love them. They're fun. They really are fun. They're my babies, all of them. And adding on to that website, RealCopStoriesVideos.com, 125 or 6 or so answers to your questions. And so we're answering one right now, long tube supervision. But if you want to ask me a question, email me at rsbcopstories@gmail.com, and we're compiling a list of questions. I got a couple in there right now. I sent it back directly to the people that sent it to me, so I will answer them. If I get a lot, I might not be able to. And then these questions that I'm going to go ahead and when we get done with this segment, answer them on video, on tape, so you can get an idea of who's calling in. I won't say who it is. That people are calling in, and I don't want to expose their names. They probably don't want me to anyway. I don't know. Anyway, so here we are. It's 9/11 hit. It's about 3 days later. They want us to follow people. The brass and understand that you have to teach people how to do surveillance. You just can't follow someone. You watch some of these cop shows, even the current ones, where they're supposed to do surveillance, and they're across the street from the guy. Two cops in here, and here's the crook, and the crook comes out, and it's funny how on TV the crook will do this. Doesn't see two guys sitting right there in a car with binoculars, and that's what they do. Okay, that's not how it's done. Okay. It's one guy to a car or lady, sit back far enough away that you can't be seen or not seen easily. And then I won't get into how we do surveillance, but basically, I'll bore you with that. Seen but not be seen. And so we had fumbled a few times. We had a taxi driver turn around and come at us, confronting one of my guys. We surrounded him and told him he was an alleged sex pervert, and since we cleared him, he can leave. He was happy about that. Sure as hell can tell him we're looking for him as a Mideastern terrorist. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, fine. So we are now going to try to follow a van. Okay, so we had a Ralph's Market. My boss says we're both in charge, but he's senior to me, so he's my boss. We're going to pick a van in the parking lot. We're going to follow it. See how we do. Okay, all right, fine. So we set up on him. Told him to only follow a guy. Luckily, a guy came out and got in the van. It's regular. We call those, my kids call those a shop, what they call shop thing, a little shop vac vans. You got the standard shape of used to have a shop vac or something about that size, like this. Anyway, so that's what they look like. I don't know what van, what brand, Chrysler or something. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So he backs out and we're following him. And surprisingly, because again, I told you before, 99% of the narcs are alphas, men and women. They want to be there because they're hardworking, they're aggressive, they're like sponges. They absorb everything you tell them because they want to learn. I mean, most of these officers, men and women, probably have around anywhere from, say, 5 to 7, 8 years on the department, okay? I've got almost 30. This guy's got 31. We've been in surveillance for 25 years. They're going to listen. They sat up and listened because we are the ones that are the experts. And we were, and I still am. And so they're listening. And it's obviously a listen because we did this for 2 days solid, following that taxi and then following each other for most of the next day. They got it. Most of them got it. So now we're following this man, and he's making some turns. He goes to get gas. They're setting up. I'm not watching the van. I'm watching my guys. I'm watching what they're doing. The van comes out. I lay back on purpose. This guy pulls out. I'm watching this guy. This guy goes over there. It's a whole thing where basically it's this. If you're looking at the crook's car, he goes down the street. Okay, car way back here with a car between them, either over here or over here. Behind this police car, undercover car, 2 or 3 cars are back in traffic. Okay. And then if you know the area, sometimes you know the area, sometimes you don't. They're cross streets. So if you're sharp, which most of my guys were, they're going down the side streets. So you have this parallel surveillance where you have the crook, 2 officers, next street over here this way, going the same way. So they're following the lead car. Okay, kind of like a queen bee with all the drones following her. It's just like a formation. Okay, I did it from the sky. It's neat to watch from the sky. We did that on a tape. I taped that where I put big X's on the roofs of cars, and then I got up in the air and we videotaped what it looked like. Pretty neat. It's like little miniature cars going around. Okay, so anyway, so I'm watching the guys. Crook makes a turn. The guy goes straight like supposed to. The car's over here, turns. Now he's got him. Car over here, backs off, pulls to the curb. Guy goes by him. This guy turns. I mean, it's all orchestrated nice and smooth. It kind of went pretty good. Okay, so we did this for like an hour. The guy went home. Okay, we went to a couple stores, got some gas, and he went home. So we met in the parking lot, and they're all looking at each other, looking for us for praise or criticism. And my boss says that went pretty good. And I go, you know, guys, that's really good. For only the second and the third time we've done this. A couple of adjustments, okay? So they're listening to me, listen to him. And now he calmed down, because the first day, I told you, he was yelling at everybody. Quit making that right turn. What's the matter with you, son of a bitch? You know, oh my God, it's hilarious. We have our own frequency, so nobody's going to hear us. So he's yelling at them. And, okay, so, all right. So then now we're settling down, okay? So now we're getting some clues. And we back to another taxi stand, picked up another taxi. Perfect. We followed him around. And all we're doing, I don't want to sound like we're violating anybody's rights. All we're doing is just seeing where they go. We're given this information from the FBI. And I thought this was a little side note here. What's interesting was they told our department and my lieutenant and captain that here's the information that we want you to follow these guys. They gave us a name, an address, and a vehicle. Told us not to ask any questions about the case. We don't have security clearance to ask about the case. So my question was, well, if we don't have security clearance to ask about this criminal, then why are we following the criminal? We need to know what's going on. You don't need to know whatever you need to know. So I told my lieutenant, kind of said, well, we just follow orders. I said, but here's my question now. Here's my question. Could they at least tell us if this guy has a weapon registered to him? Because if we're going to follow someone, what if he's armed in there with legally obtained weaponry, and we don't know that, or even illegally obtained weaponry where we think he got arrested years ago for the same thing or for weapons charges? That would be nice to know. Because if we're going to follow somebody and say we get burned, in other words, the guy identifies one of us, he spins around and comes at us like that taxi driver did, he might come out with a gun, and then we're going to blow him away. And then we're going to say, well, as far as we're concerned, you didn't tell us nothing. He turned around with a gun, we blew him away. It's on you guys. Should have told us. Not that we could have handled it differently, but we could have come out aggressively first with the guns to calm him down instead of him coming out with the guns first. You know, who whips out the gun first usually gets the jump on you. Does that make sense? Okay, so anyway, they wouldn't even tell us that. So there was a conflict between our brass and the FBI brass as to who we shouldn't follow, because they're only giving us so much information, and they wouldn't give us any security clearances. They wouldn't do any of that. So what they wanted, the FBI wanted, they wanted ground troops. They didn't have enough troops to follow these people. It's obvious. They had lists and lists and lists of these people, and they've never followed them because they don't have manpower to do it. And of course, most of the time, you have to have some kind of a criminal nexus. In other words, you have to look that he might be involved in something, a crime. What changed that was 9/11. Because now instead of looking for someone who may be involved in, bank card fraud or burglary or, something like this, where you have to have a reason to follow him, 9/11 gave them reasons to follow all of them. Okay? Their reasoning, the government's. And so we weren't told, we were asked if we could do it. And thank goodness our people did, because we did it for a lot of reasons, not necessarily to help the FBI, which is actually a good thing to do, but also we wanted to identify possible crooks in our city, and in the county where fine, maybe they're not, terrorists where they're going to blow up buildings, but they could be robbers. They could be doing something bad. They could be rapists. It could be something that could be involved. So if we can just eliminate them, in other words, follow them, saying he's a student, 30-year-old student, but anyway, or find out that they're just here because they're on an expired visa, or they're just here driving a taxi and they're harmless, then that's good too. You eliminate the possibility of them being a crook. It's interesting because I use this analogy, which I was an umpire for Little League for many, many years, and I used to say that the pitcher wants a strike and the batter wants a ball, and it's nothing. The ball comes down the middle. It's nothing until the umpire calls it. It's not anything. It's just a ball. It comes down the ramp until we say ball or strike. So in these things, when they give us this clue, they're saying, well, he does this, he does that. Oh, calm down. It's nothing until we see it and we tell you what it is. Because people will do a lot of weird things when they think they're not being watched. That's when they'll do the most dirty damage, is when they think they're free and clear. That's why when those guys came out with that bag on the last story from the bus terminal and they're looking around, it looked mighty suspicious. Turned out they're looking around because they didn't know where they were. They were first time in LA, they had no idea where they were. They're looking for the car to come and get them. But we don't know that. Again, we're the umpires. We have to see what we gather this stuff. Okay, fine, you're good. So we had, I'd say, almost all the people we followed in the next 5-6 years. I was assigned there. It was just noting where they went. There was no, unless again, we don't have the clearance to know this. I'm sure when we sent the information back after following for a week, maybe something was done with it at a higher level. But as far as we were concerned, the safety of the citizens of the city was our biggest concern. Okay, secondary was following it because there were possible terrorists or whatever. But our mindset was, we'll follow them, but we're doing it for our reasons. Okay, not necessarily your reasons. It's a good reason. Don't get me wrong. Following these type of people that could hurt the public at large is a good thing. It really is. But we did it to the point of we want to protect our citizens and see if these guys are involved in something. Okay, and since patrol was handling the majority of the normal function of criminals, no one was following these people except us. So we did that, and we followed somebody, pick somebody up, and 2 or 3 days we'd know if he's good or bad, and we just submit it and go to the next one. So now here we go. So now we're off and running. About a week goes by, start our first target, follow him, beautiful. Guys are doing great. And you can see from our point of view as supervisors how it went from chaotic crap to not bad to this is pretty good to man, these guys get it. It's really good. And when it goes really well, we don't have anything to do because the 8 guys pretty much run this thing. And they kind of like when I had my squad, my lieutenant would tell me, hey, your guys did a really good, he'd tell me, you did a really good job. And like the other 3 guys would say, thank you. I'd go, no, my guys did all the work. I didn't do anything. I don't put handcuffs on anybody. Okay, just like these guys. They say, you did a really good job on that last case. We discovered some place he lived, some contacts, some people that on another list. That's great. You did really good. I said, well, no, it's my guys. My guys did it. Oh, well, you know what I mean. And apparently they don't know what I mean. They think, I know. When they say you don't know what I mean, I go, no, you're right. You don't understand what I mean. Okay. Got to give credit where credit's due. Okay. So anyway, we followed these people and we were off and running and it was pretty good. Now, here's some side things. Oh my gosh. Hope I have time to do the next one. Do I have time?
12 minutes.
Oh, I got time. Okay. Oh, 12 minutes in? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to have to stop here. But let me give you a preamble to this. Now we're off and running, meaning we're months, 2's gone by, we're following people, things are going really well. Now, unfortunately, here's this elephant flying along the room. It's lieutenants, okay? I've had a problem with lieutenants. And sure enough, it doesn't end. Because with this calamity, they have to bring in all these guys from inside to go out and actually supervise all these squads, because you have 4 squads with 1 lieutenant. Well, now you got 30 squads. Now do the math here. 27? Lieutenants, 7 or 8 lieutenants that are all inside have to come out because now they need lieutenant supervisors for all this new rash of 30 surveillance squads. Every 4 has to have a lieutenant. So they basically, get the rug and throw it outside. And all these freaking moths come out, and they're the lieutenants. They've never been outside in years. They're all administrative guys. Sit in there and do paperwork all day long. So this is what's coming up. Okay. So I'll get you next time. I've run out of time.